WandaVision is heavily overrated. Alright, you can put your pitchforks down now. I asked you guys for your hottest MCU takes and most unpopular opinions about everything in the MCU. So I picked some of the hottest takes I could find and we're going to go over them. Let's see if we agree or disagree with them in this video. And starting off with the one that made the title, WandaVision is heavily overrated and didn't deliver on anything because of fan theories. And I have to disagree about this. I really think this show did deliver, and it was just a nice, refreshing, new take on something in the MCU. And although it did kind of end like everything in the MCU with a big CGI fight at the end, that kind of took away from this special event this show kind of was. I didn't mind things like Quicksilver end up being Ralph Boner, and while it did kind of feel a little bit cheap to do that, I don't think that took away from the experience at all. And if you just kept yourself a little level-headed when it came to fan theories, I think you could see that this show was amazing. And I think it's properly rated. Obviously, there's some Wanda stands out there that act like it's the best thing the MCU's ever done. I don't think it's that good, but I think it's properly rated. Captain Marvel showed the perfect amount of emotion in her movie because of brainwashing. I have to disagree with this one, but I don't really think it's Captain Marvel's fault or Brie Larson's fault at all. I think this is more on the writing team. If she was just going to kind of be this like emotionless thing that doesn't really know how to be a human being, because obviously she wouldn't, I feel like that would have been fine. But with the writing and them trying to make her like a mini Tony Stark almost with these snippy comments and stuff, that just didn't work. I feel like they just felt like they had to add some humor into her character, but I feel like that almost took away from it. And like I said, it just tried to feel like a cheap ripoff of Tony Stark. If they just left the comedy up to Nick Fury in this movie, I feel like it would have been a lot better. I mean, Daredevil is one of the most beloved Marvel things ever made, even though it's not in the MCU. So obviously people will like things that aren't just trying to throw in jokes all the time. Like I said, I do agree that I think the emotion that she showed is fine. It just doesn't work with the script she was given. Black Panther is a good character, but an overrated movie, not even top 15. I have to agree with this one because on my ranking that I officially have, I have it at number 17 personally. And I really agree with this comment entirely because I do think it is an amazing character, and it is tragic that we won't get to see more Chadwick in the MCU because he really brought that character to life. But the film itself isn't that amazing to me. It just kind of felt like a very generic superhero movie. There are some very cool set pieces, and I do like how the movie looks a lot visually, even though there's some very spotty CGI that everybody knows in the final fight scene. So I do think it does get overrated a lot, as people will pick it as to be like one of the best MCU movies ever. And honestly, without Chadwick in this next one, I'm really worried about where it's going to go. I just hope they don't give the mantle to Shuri. Any of the other characters I would be fine with. I really like the other supporting characters in Black Panther. Shuri just annoys me so much for some reason. So please, Marvel, just don't do that. Before we continue, just leave your unpopular opinions in the comments below if you want to have a chance to be picked in the next video. And make sure you leave a like on this video to offset all the damage that was done by the Wanda fans that were probably angry at the title and just gave me a dislike and left. I really enjoyed Eternals and thought Sprite was a great character. Top MCU villains in quotations, because was she really a villain? I guess, yeah, because she went to the bad side, but I have to completely disagree with this entire statement. Good job on the hot takes, because this is a hot one. So we're going to tackle the first part. I really enjoyed Eternals. Completely disagree. I was checking my watch so much during this movie. I could not believe how long this thing felt. It just moved so slowly. It literally took like an hour to an hour and a half to go through all the characters and flashbacks and everything to introduce us. And they still felt underdeveloped. It was just a messy concept that kind of felt like Oscar bait, trying to do this more serious and grounded thing. And the movie is beautiful, but that's about all it has going for me. And onto the Sprite part of this comment, I absolutely hated Sprite. It was so weird. If everything's created, why was she created to be this permanent kid? They just kind of state that that's how she was created, but there's no real reasoning why. And I get that she's thousands of years old or even older than that, but the fact that she is in love with Icarus and he is a grown man, and this is obviously a very young actress. I'm sure she's like 20 something in real life, but still, it's just a very weird thing to watch on screen. And every time Sprite was on the screen, I was just annoyed or cringed. It was just bad. MJ, being Zendaya's MJ, isn't the best Spider-Man girlfriend. Heavily agree. I think Gwen is. Moving on to the next. Enough said. Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man movie. This one hurts, but I have to disagree. I absolutely loved Iron Man 3. I'm a big defender of that movie. I don't understand the hate that it gets just because of a twist. But that first Iron Man movie is just so iconic. There's so many great moments in it. And it's truly just a special movie, not just because it birthed the MCU. It's just really Robert Downey Jr. fully shining as his character. Like I said, he does that in Iron Man 3 too, but there's just something about that first Iron Man. I've rewatched it so many times, and I have them right next to each other in my rankings, but Iron Man does slightly edge out Iron Man 3 for me. This one's a close one though, let me know what you guys think. Aunt May in the MCU was underdeveloped, her death wasn't very heartbreaking. I have to agree, I mean I did find it to be a sad death, but I think the reason that it wasn't as effective as it could have been is pretty much because we already saw the Uncle Ben death in the MCU being when Iron Man died. He was the Uncle Ben for Spider-Man in this universe, and Aunt May really wasn't that, so when she died, it just felt like a lesser version of that. And it's a shame because she was starting to finally get more stuff to do and being better as a character in No Way Home, and then she's dead. Alright, that's a lot of hot takes. I want even hotter takes for next time, insane opinions that are going to get you called out. So like I said, put those all in the comments below for the next video.